Welcome back to the FTP Speed Shop PodCast, a podcast where we talk about what you talk about in the garage, because, hey, we're in the garage. I'm your host, Mike Early, and today with me, we got RG and Travis. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
All right, good deal. Glad you guys could come and have a little bit of fun. Let's drink some beers and bullshit a little bit.
Yep, thanks for having us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was kind of a mixed match getting here, but yeah, we're good.
All right, let's take care of a little bit of business real quick. This show is sponsored by FTPSpeedShop.com. Go check that out. Pick you guys up some merch. Yeah, pick up some merch. If I could learn how to talk, it would be a lot easier for me to do this. And if you guys are going to be in the Lincoln, Nebraska area on October 8th of 2022, hit up our car show.
Oh, where's that car show going to be?
The car show will be at the Child Advocacy Center. That's a tough word to say. I got to practice saying that. It's just right down the street from us here, and all proceeds will go to the Child Advocacy Center.
Nice.
Sweet.
What's our parking situation like over there?
They just put a new parking lot in. They're doing a construction project right now and added another 30 spots or so. So this should be pretty good. I think there'll be probably like 90 spots, maybe 65. I don't know. I can't remember. I counted at one point. So
this is your second car show that you're having?
Second annual car show. And yeah, we're learning as we go. It's definitely been a large learning curve. The first one was a little bit of a shit show.
It wasn't bad. We showed up to it and walked around, and it was a nice location.
What day is that on? Do you know?
Saturday.
It's a Saturday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to do the trike races and
Yep, we've got, I think I got another 5 trikes
for the kids
to paint and redo.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Looking for sponsors. Anybody that wants to sponsor a trophy. I talked to Jeremy a couple weeks ago about building the awards and stuff. That's the trophy was last year, that wood plaque up there.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So that was the one he made for us. It had all of our sponsors on it.
Nice. I'm going to do the raffle prizes again, and
Yep, all of the raffle and stuff like that, all those proceeds will go to the Child Advocacy Center.
Sweet. Yeah, speaking about trophies, actually, my dad had a whole ton of those trophies from BMX racing, and we ended up giving all those away, and you know, that I guess probably could have built a couple trophies out of those.
I didn't know you gave them away.
Yeah, they're gone.
That's funny because I forget, me and Zach it was probably a year ago, we were in here bullshitting and somehow got talking about trophies and all the trophies coming, you know, and so I like ran up to the garage in the loft and pulled out this big box that had all my BMX trophies in it.
City.
And I thought it'd be a good idea to line them up on the table, you know, in the middle of the night, and the kids would wake up and they'd see them. Apparently my wife was like, "What the fuck are you doing? And why are all these trophies out here? Like, what happened last night?" And I was like, I thought the kids would like to see these, I guess.
Yes.
And yeah, so I still have all my BMX trophies. I only raced for probably a year and a half.
That was about me too. I was roughly, I would say, it was probably about 3 years, and then I was just done around 2000. That was when I was done.
Yeah, I was been probably about the time.
About the same time.
Yeah, I probably actually would have been 99 maybe was when I quit.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, okay, so I ended up racing the 2000 state champion in my class, and I won that.
Heck yeah!
So I did pretty good. It was out of 8 guys, so it was a decent run. But yeah, and I still have that. You know, I kept those plaques, the good ones.
Yeah,
the big trophies.
I'm still mad at my parents because I was winning I think I was 16 novice or whatever, and I was winning my bracket or whatever for state, and they were going to go down to was it districts or down in Oklahoma or not?
I believe that might have been Missouri at the time.
It was down in Oklahoma. I do remember that. And they're like, "No, we're not taking you down there." And I'm like, "Come on, let's go. I want to, Dad, I'm doing really good. I finally found something I'm good at. I'm doing it." And he's like, "Nope, we're not going." I was like, "Mom, can we go?" "No, we're not going." Yeah. And then I talked to my buddies, Max and AJ, I think, was going down with Max. And Max's dad was like, "Yeah, you can come along. That's fine." My parents were like, "Absolutely not." And I'm like, "Fuck, you hate me so much."
I know, right? Why?
So I never got to go. Yeah, I never got to go. I think I ended up being like
in
30. Actually, it wasn't in the state. It was in the nation for 16 novice or whatever.
I can't remember what they called that down there, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so I ended up being 31st, and that's what I have the 31 on the plate up there because I raced the next year.
I think if I remember right, it was called the Gold Cup Nationals or something like that. Does that sound about right?
Nationals is what it was, not districts, but I don't remember. Yeah, I could go up there. I still have the ABA catalog that was from back then, where you can peel through it and find your name and the very back
see
of it.
Where your points are at.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Still
man,
have
you're
those.
talking real old.
Yep.
Oh. Yep. I guess another question. So yeah, I always remember you being older than me when we were racing, and I was never that great, and we didn't show up all the time. But yeah, it was definitely a good time, you know. And I think it kind of lost its value a little bit over time in the years. I think it's starting to pick up a little bit again.
It definitely went in a slump. Probably.
It did.
Yeah.
It went downhill there for a little bit.
But yeah, it seems like actually we were out there last year and they've got the asphalt berms.
Yeah,
and
we didn't have anything nice like that. We had water ruts in the berms, you know, trying to pass somebody, and it's not cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a blast, and I would highly recommend it if your kids are into any sort of biking or whatever, getting them out and racing. It's such a good
competitive,
time.
that's for sure.
Yeah, but everybody's, at the end of the day, you know, you're all on the same team, kind of.
Yeah. Everybody was always a good sport out there.
Everybody, and they're willing to help you if you blow a tube or something, get you.
Yep.
Yeah, we got one in the trunk.
Yeah, there was times I remember there was some old guys out there, and they had an old. I needed some air in my tire, and he had an old air bubble made out of an old Freon bottle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was pretty ghetto, but yeah, it was sweet. Oh yeah, I'll come help you. You know,
Zach's air bubble is still a Freon bottle.
That's sweet.
R12.
See? Yeah. I'm sure that's what it was. Or
Yeah,
something like
absolutely.
That. R22 or R12.
Were you friends with Sid? Is that how I met you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Because I remember you coming around the neighborhood and you were into bikes, and then we all kind of started biking together, and which was weird. I didn't know you, and
him at the
met
time,
you like years later, and I was like,
Wasn't quite sure.
wait, is that your brother?
Wasn't quite sure how we met. Actually, I was thinking about that the other day. I remember some parties and stuff that you showed up to, but
it would have been.
That's probably
It probably would have been through Eric at some
like
point.
that.
Yeah, like TJ's house.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know the first time I met my wife either. So I don't. It was apparently it was
Stuff kind of gets blurred.
it was either a blur or it was just kind of everybody just showed up at the same place at the same time.
So did you live in Belmont? That was
Just
You guys are up by the what's that? Campbell Elementary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were just probably to the east of Belmont.
so you're on the
'Cause
north side of Superior.
So they were. Yeah.
You guys were.
No, he was on the south side of Superior.
Still on south side of
Yeah.
Superior?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you guys, that trailer park that was just north of you guys, like a ways, like
Yeah, the Mark IV.
yeah, we were just to the east of that.
Sorry, I
The Mark IV trailer park.
I had some
just had a memory on that.
It's all good. So,
because I think I went over to your guys' house once, way back in the day.
I remember you being over there.
way back in the day, in like bike riding days, and then we went over there. I don't know if Zach or somebody was buying a carburetor or a nitrous plate or something off of your dad.
Probably.
Yeah, I believe that was Zach, and it might have been Kevin.
Oh, yeah, that's probably what it was. So we went over there with Kevin or whatever to get the nitrous plate or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what are you guys working on in the garage, RG? What do you got going on?
We were actually working on building a garage.
Well, that's
How does that sound?
that's
a
the
start.
you got to have a garage if you want to work on something in the garage.
We got a 2-stall attached garage and it's full, so it's time to build so we can start working.
Yeah, definitely go bigger than smaller.
Yeah, we purchased the house a couple of years ago, and we bought the house to build a garage.
You bought the house just to build a garage?
Pretty much, and conveniency to go to work.
Yeah.
So it is very difficult here to find a lot that you can even drive back to the backyard. So we're very fortunate with what we purchased, and timing couldn't have been better. with
Yeah,
that.
it's been insane trying to find anything.
Yep.
The market
And
is
for a reasonable
so,
price. And
I don't think reasonable is a word anymore.
no.
Not when it comes to
There's-
real estate.
There is
we
no
paid
deals.
probably more than we should have for our place, but it's all good. It worked out.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about building for the garage?
I think I was approved for a 32 by 30 or 30 by 32. We're going to start with that pole frame, and
So metal building, pole, or metal siding,
metal
pole
siding,
or pole barn,
building,
whatever.
yeah. I don't know what they really call it. Post frame, I
Yeah.
think is what they call it.
Pole barn is what I always called them.
You know, I really don't know the difference in the price, I guess, between a pole, post frame or a regular
wood construction.
wood
Just standard construction.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it. I guess we should probably price both.
I think it's going to be cheaper. You don't have to have perimeter frost footings and things like that. So you're just punching a hole every 8 foot in the ground or whatever it works out to,
Yeah.
and then going from there. So
Yeah. So
I think you save a lot on concrete. You'll save probably, just a material alone, you'll save a couple $1,000s in concrete, especially for that size, that footprint.
Yeah. And I just realized that they don't pour footings on that. That's
Nope, you punch a hole in the ground, throw a little, I think it's 4-inch or 6-inch thick concrete
the
slug in the ground, and then you just set the post on top of that and backfill around it.
backfill.
I've heard a lot of people say dirt. We've always went with dirt.
Okay.
But I've heard people say backfill and gravel and backfill and this, and I've heard people run a bunch of screws and nails and lags and then backfill it with the
Yeah.
dirt so it has some pull out
grabs a
values.
little bit.
Yeah.
Stability,
Okay.
yeah.
In case there's like a tornado, but I think at that point
It is pretty windy over there, but
there's a
because
lot.
we don't have any neighbors to the west and it's all open, Wilderness Park.
There's a lot of
okay.
buildings that are up and, no tree lines out in the middle of the
Yeah.
country, and they seem to hold up just fine. That metal gives, and then you got X-brace or your diagonals and wind bracing in there, and then that metal's going to give you some pretty good shear, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So basically here to start designing and,
I didn't realize this was going to be a business podcast.
the design and go here.
There we
I
go.
mean, we don't have to do it on podcast, but
I would be interested to see what the price is. As I priced one, it's probably been 2 years ago, and it was probably right before everything went crazy with material costs. Because I was going to put one in down the street, like I forget what it was, like a 30 by 60 or something. Tear down that old garage at Zach's and
Yeah.
put that in there. But
it's a big building.
at the time, it was only like 15 grand or
Yeah.
13 grand. I can't remember what it was, just for the material, obviously, and then you have the
And
time to
labor
do
and,
it. But
concrete.
when plywood went from 877 for a sheet of 7/16 all the way up to 65, I
Yeah.
think, at the peak.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
haven't
it's pretty
priced-
crazy right now for the OSB. It's out of control.
Yeah, I haven't priced it for a while, but man, I couldn't even, that last garage we did a 30 by 39. Just the framing material, nothing fancy, 2x4 studs, trusses. Just the framing material cost went up $7,500.
Nice.
Not nice.
Was that 12 foot? Ceiling?
They did 10-foot ceilings. We did roughly 18-inch stem wall, and then so I think we ended up using 9-foot studs. And yeah, but just it was insane.
Nice.
Like I bid it in the fall the year before, and then by the time we got around to doing it, it was like, hey, just so we know, there's a little bit of update on pricing, because I'll walk away from the job because I'm not going to lose money
Yeah,
and
you
build a
snooze, you
garage.
lose.
Well, I'm not going to build a garage for free. And I
No.
said, if you guys still want us to do it, this is the cost, because I have no control over my costs.
Yeah.
I've been doing this shit for 20 years and the costs have always been within reason. You know, you get a couple little spikes. You know, if there's a hurricane, plywood will go up to $15 a sheet, not $65 a sheet.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah. And so, and of course they bought, and I told them, I said, if it was me, this would have been back in June, early June, probably of last year. I said, if it was me, I would wait until the fall.
Yeah.
But I can't say it won't be more expensive in the fall, but it can't stay this high. It's
a gamble.
Yeah. And she goes, well, we can't afford if it goes up anymore. Well, all right.
Yeah.
Cut the check for $17,000 to order the material, and it was on site, you know, the next week. Because the lumberyard said, we can't hold any material. Wow. You buy it, it has to be delivered within a week.
Wow.
Because normally you can buy stuff and then, you know, it can sit there for a couple weeks or a month, and it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, they're like, nope, delivery must be taken within the next 7 days.
Like paid to order, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Nice. So yeah, I guess basically we need to start out by figuring out what I can actually build. But I was quoted the 30 by 30 is what I was quoted, or 30 by 32. It just depends on that front garage. We'll have to remeasure that, like you were saying, from wall to wall.
Yeah.
There's a little indention where the closet, you know.
Deduct that.
Yeah.
Deduct.
And I'm not sure if the county assessor has that deducted or not. I'd have to pull up the website and look at it again to make sure.
I think my GoPro just shut off. Or just turned off.
It did. That's what says USB.
It says connected.
Connected, but
Oh, that was weird.
Aren't you connected?
it's like it's not getting any power.
It's got...
Oh, there. Just you're good now. Your screen popped up over here.
Yeah, let's try
That's
that.
kind of weird.
Yeah, you know, GoPros can be temperamental. You know, there's at least... I don't know that there's been one podcast where we haven't had one just shut off in the middle of it. It overheats. I think the one that RG's in front of is the one that always overheats. And so
Oh, sweet.
I took the battery out because supposedly it's charging the battery, which makes it hot, and then it's running it off of the... So, I don't know.
yeah.
And it supposedly ruins the batteries if you leave the batteries in it, but
Who knows?
I don't know.
So yeah, let's start by, I guess, finding out what I'm allowed to build.
Yeah, I would definitely measure inside a wall to inside a wall, and they're going to make you sign an affidavit stating that this is exactly what happened, or, you know, because...
I think they said it was 517 is what they have it.
Because they go off of what the county assessor has, and they measure outside a wall to outside a wall.
Yeah, so we need to measure inside the wall to inside the wall.
I'm not telling you what. I'm not telling you what to do.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But that may have been done.
Sure.
On a different garage. I'm not going to say.
It makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
Square foot, you know.
Well, it's stupid too. Okay, so now we're going to go down a damn rabbit hole, because now I'm going to get mad because. So when my dad was going to build his garage, you know, they changed all the rules, and it was like 1,500 square foot you could build, you know, for his lot size.
That's what they said.
And so we said, cool, 1,500 square foot. He's got the room to do it. We put it in there.
Yeah.
Boom. Went down to the city to get it passed. I go, you idiot. What the hell are you thinking? There's a 500 square foot garage, or I forget what they had, like 524 square foot garage on the front of the house. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, the total amount of garage and accessory buildings on your property goes against that 1,500 square foot. So if you have a shed, that counts against it. If you have a shipping container, that counts against it. If you have any other garage, the attached garage on the house counts against it. And it's like, okay. Well, I'm glad I learned a lesson on my dad so that I could at least talk to him and not have to deal with like a customer when I go back to him and go, oh yeah, the city says you're fucked.
And that's what the guy told me too.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your dad's property is for square footage. It
was over 7,500 square foot.
So was that under a quarter acre?
Yes, but it was. Well, I don't know actually what it is in acre wise, but it's within the window. To be up to 1,500 square foot. But I talked to Mike downtown for, dude, I don't know, emails, phone calls. I was on the phone with him. I was actually in Menards getting material, and he called me back.
Yeah.
And I've been like sitting on my little board cart, you know, just talking to him, like drawing on the boards, trying to explain what was going on. And it was just, He's like, we're going to need to know exactly. I was like, well, there's no way that's 500 square foot in the front garage, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, measure. And I go, if I measure inside to inside, is that going to be a problem? He goes, that's square foot.
It's square foot, yeah.
And so he goes, we can only go off of what the assessor says. And I go outside to outside.
Okay.
And I go, and also inside his garage, the house bumps into the garage a little bit. So the outside to outside, that's a partial lie. But it bumps in, I think, a 2x4 wall is all. But, I said, like, that's not accurate. And he's like, well, I need to get accurate square footage numbers. And then I need you to sign something stating that those are accurate. And if for whatever reason we ever have to measure that and it's not accurate, it's coming back on you. And I said, okay, I'll measure it. And I told my dad, I said, if they come out to measure, we're going to have to frame a wall in here.
Add an extra 2x4 wall.
Frame a little bit of wall in here. But no, his house does actually have, because we moved his house on, so we did all the work in it. But it does actually have a 2x4 firewall in the garage that's sitting on the garage slab, I believe. Mm-hmm. So I think it is smaller, but not by a lot. So, and then your garage door takes up square foot. It doesn't look like much, but that's 3 inches by, whatever.
Yeah,
16.
24, yeah. 16,
depending
24.
on what you have for a door. So
Yeah.
we built, I think, 28.6 by 33.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I need to ask
Sweet.
that because my lot is 10,000 square feet.
rich.
No. It's just got no neighbors on the west side. So,
Well, I mean, that's a large lot.
it is a large lot. Yep. And like I said, that was appealing to us, and it already had concrete going all the way to the backyard. So it's poured already to the back. It's a walkout basement. So yeah, we're really excited. We're happy with our house. And, so with that, and you have to be 5 foot off the lot line.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on what your zoning is, but I'm going to assume you're residential, something or other. So your side yard's going to be 5 foot.
Yeah.
Your rear yard will be 20 foot.
What if you don't have neighbors to the rear?
Doesn't matter. You still have a
20
rear.
20.
Yeah.
From 20 foot from the lot line?
From the rear lot line. So if you can get in that rear lot, or if you can stay out of the rear lot and out of the side yards, you're able to build as if it's connected to the house or part of the house. So now all the accessory building rules within reason go away. So now you're able to heat and cool it. You're able to go up to 35 feet or whatever your zone. I don't know if you're R2 or R3 or R4, but we have to look into that. But like with my dad's, since the alley was abandoned and they bought the alley, that gave him 16 more feet to the back of his property line.
Yep.
So we're just 4 feet off of that. That's that 20-foot rear yard. And then we're within the side yard offset. So he was able to go up 35 feet. We didn't do 35 feet, obviously, but, 14-foot sidewalls with scissor trusses. Yep. So he's able to get, he's got nice high ceilings for a lift or whatever and all that stuff.
Okay. So yeah, it looks like we need some work. We need to look at my lot size and stuff like that.
If you can put it in the buildable lot, that's the best thing. And granted, once you get, and I'm not telling you what to do and not giving you, this is not building construction advice. So please do not take any of this as building construction advice. I feel like a financial planner or whatever. Anytime anybody's talking about Bitcoin on YouTube, this is not financial advice.
Yeah.
But,
not liable.
Once the permit's closed, what you do with your garage is on you. But that doesn't mean you don't have an asshole neighbor or something that turns you in every 2 seconds.
I'm not worried about that.
So going to that code enforcement issue, if you really want to go into that,
I don't. I normally like to. Well, that's not true.
I'll just tell you one little story. I got hit by code enforcement for having a vehicle. They said disassembled vehicle parked in your driveway. And I guess my question always was, for you YouTube guys out there, what defines a disassembled vehicle? I mean, is the tail light missing? Is the bumper cover off? I mean, How
I
do
would
you word that?
assume that it's something that can't be legally driven on the streets and or cannot move under its own power.
Now, see, okay, and that's the thing. The 2 times that I got hit, the first time the car that I had was a BMW and was parked on jack stands in my driveway, but it was a running and driving vehicle.
You were just doing a brake job on it or something?
Yep. And they hit me on that. And I said, I told the guy, I said, you can come back, and if you want to go for a ride, I'll give you a spin. You know, we can go around the block in it and drive you around.
Yeah, that's some bullshit probably where you have a neighbor that is just
After you.
or they're just dicks and they have nothing better to do with their life than make everybody's life. They want to bring everybody down to the level they're at. They hate their life so much that they want to make your life miserable just like theirs.
Yeah.
And that's I don't know, man. We had 2 neighbors like that growing up around here.
Yeah.
Everybody
gotcha.
keeps to themselves pretty much, and I don't really have any problems. Like actually, yeah, it's usually pretty good. I don't get the cops. Cops aren't called if I'm
Sweet.
doing a burnout in my driveway or something. Which
Lighting fireworks
That.
off. Anything
Yeah,
like
fireworks, yeah.
apparently Jackson thinks it's fine to find the bottle rockets and like just random day in February and start shooting them off in the backyard and with him and his buddies when they're having a sleepover. And I go, hey, you guys know that is illegal. And if the cops show up, I'm having them arrest you guys. I'm not going down for this shit, just so you guys know.
So I also had I have a 2009 Honda Ridgeline. It's got 165,000 miles on it. No, 265,000. It was sitting in the driveway. It has plates and insurance, and they still hit me on that because it didn't move within 10 days. How does that work?
Yeah, that doesn't seem
ain't that crazy? It's a little
seems-
overboard. Isn't
There's
it?
a stupid law on the books
Yeah.
that somebody knows about, and the cops have no. Our neighbor called me and my brother in because we both had black cars. I had the 92 Honda Prelude, and
Okay.
he had like the 300Z or whatever back in the day. And we neither one of us had front license plates because those are gay. And he called us in and said we were sharing license plates, and they weren't even close to the same number.
Man.
And he called us in for blocking the sidewalk because my back bumper was halfway covering the sidewalk, and he was a prick. I'm glad he shot himself in the head with a 22.
That's an easy call in, though, is blocking the sidewalk. They use that every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dumb rule for sure.
Well, that's part of there's so many stupid rules on the books that if your neighbors really want to fuck with you, they can. They can
Yeah.
put the hurting on you, especially for car people, because what kind of car person doesn't have a car that doesn't run at one point? I mean, hell, I have I don't know, a couple, 3 or 4 of them.
We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have 2 at home right now, and I had concrete poured, so I have actually one sitting in my backyard, which is a no, but I had to because I had to
When I grew up,
concrete poured.
we had cars in the backyard. That was just normal. And we grew up in the
Right?
city. Yeah.
Right.
Chuck had that 66 that sat outside from I don't know, the time I was probably, when did he buy that? I probably would have been like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And then it sat in the backyard underneath the tarp until they moved out of there in like 2005.
Right. I mean, yeah, Zach did too. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them.
Exactly. What kind of car person doesn't have a car that's sitting on jack stands or sitting in the corner just waiting to be done? Because you always find that one deal or that one car you've always loved, and you gotta have it. I need it now. I gotta have it.
Yeah.
I'll get to it. And then life happens. You got kids. You got a wife. Whatever. Something comes up. You can't finish it. You can't do your stuff. And
Yeah.
fuck these people.
I guess.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at fuck these people.
Okay, so go back to what projects do you guys have at home?
Yeah, it's your turn, Travis. What projects you got going on in the garage?
Well, besides the side work, little small spot jobs, I got
It only took us 30 minutes to get to the first question for you.
I know. I got the 1995 Jeep Wrangler soft top with the half doors. It needs full restoration. I got some of the suspension work done, and then I had to kind of stop working on it, but it's
You gonna make like a wheeling monster out of that thing?
It's
or
actually
is it-
kind of, well, we only got, I got a really good deal on a suspension kit. A guy actually changed his mind, and he had it. It was like, I think it's a 2.5 lift, and it's got the Goodyear Wrangler tires and the Rubicon wheels, and I got all that stuff for a smoking price. So I got some of the leaf springs on the suspension. It's only a 4-cylinder, but it has a 310 gears, so it's a little bit, it still runs pro good. And it's a small little car. But it's actually kind of the wife's project, so to be real honest with you, I'm gonna say this right here on
I get the code words. That's why
I don't
built
like
this.
Jeeps, but
I don't like Ford trucks either, but that was an excuse for me to build another car.
exactly,
and I gave it to my wife.
So yep. So no, someday it's gonna be pretty sweet. Or I think we're gonna end up going with the new Rubicon gray, just the flat gray.
Yeah, kind of no.
We're gonna spray clear on it, but there's no metallic in it. It's just gonna be like a primer
straight.
with the
A little darker than primer.
And then we'll probably go with black wheels and just kind of, And if we don't go with that color, I actually found another color. It's like really cool. It kind of fits the air a little bit more. It's like a root beer color. So it'd been like an 80s style, or even a 60s style, 55 or something. That kind of root beer color. I think looked good on that era.
Yeah, maybe even like that military, because like you said, the gray, how it's just a basic gray with clear coat on it. So it's just shiny gray. If you could do like kind of like a green, like a military type thing with it, that would look kind of cool.
I think
and then
some
if you
of
could
the
do like some lighter green accents or something on it.
I think some of the newer style 4Runners had a color like that.
Did they?
Yeah, that's out right now. That's pretty hot.
Yeah, it seems like Toyota really went with like the basic colors.
They did. They went back to just solid colors. That's what
Nothing
I've been
fancy.
seeing all the time.
We seen a not to cut you off here, but we seen a Suburban. I think it was like a brand new Suburban, and it was like almost looked like a candy apple red. And I was like, man, these guys at the dealership, they're getting pretty crazy with paint colors. Like they're doing some like a $20,000 paint job.
Yeah. So maybe, I guess, if we get back to that, you might have to come up sometime and check this out, because I want to do some old school stuff on the hood instead of having the Wrangler emblem, like black or white everybody puts on the hood. We're going to do a ghost, just a
very
pearl
cool.
on that, so you can just barely see it.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah,
yes, the light hits it right, and all of a sudden it shows up.
We're going to
and
get back
shimmers.
to the 90s style on this.
Hell yeah.
And that whole car is going to be painted with, I have 2 paint guns. One of them is the Sharps. It's a siphon feed paint gun. It's from like the early 90s. And
Siphon feed. I've never sprayed with the siphon feed.
Oh, yeah. Me neither. This is going to be...
First time around.
This is I figured 90s car, 90s paint gun. It just kind of goes with it.
Yeah, might as well.
And those came from my dad, and he used them, So we're going to do it. We're just going to go back to the
old school days.
and I'm sure my wrist is going to hurt after that, but we'll get it.
I've heard the siphon guns paint so much better, and they just everything lays out nicer. They put a lot more material down, I think.
So he has 2 of them. He has one with the blue tip and one with the yellow tip, and I don't even know which one, but he told me one was for the base coat and one was for the clear, but I don't know.
Take a little trial.
I'll just have
there.
to figure it out to look at it.
See which one has a larger fluid tip on it.
But I think that's going to be kind of a challenge for a younger guy that's used to using a SATA, HVLP, or Iwata. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be a different deal. But I'm willing to try it out. I think.
Oh, absolutely. I think you have to try everything. Figure it out. And for me, anyways, I want to know how to do everything. So if there's something that I have to do in life, I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I just want to know how to do everything. The more you know.
And
who would have thought reading Rainbow was right?
Yeah. And I'm hoping we're going to spray that in a booth.
Yeah. Not going to do it in the garage.
Well, it just depends.
It's small enough.
I mean, I have the ability to get a booth, so
I've never painted in a booth. I don't know. I would probably freak out. I don't think I could do it.
Mike, this is a whole nother situation, because I've sprayed in a booth a few times where I work at, and I sprayed my jet ski in a booth, and we went with it's a BMW. I believe it's N51 is the paint code, and it's like a blue pearl metallic.
Nobody knows what that means.
Yeah,
just so you know.
Yeah.
There's like one
It's
BMW guy out
super
there who's like,
sweet,
oh yeah,
dude.
hell
Oh,
yeah.
he will.
He's not listening to this
will.
podcast.
It's a sweet metallic, and if you ever need pictures of it, I can send you some.
I don't need any pictures.
dude.
I mean, if you want to send a picture
you've
for the
seen it,
podcast, I'll put it on there. But I don't personally need a picture of your jet ski.
It's pretty sweet.
Check out the paint.
So actually, I wanted to talk to you, Ryan, about you do upholstery or you dabble.
Not as much as I would like to. It's kind of like you and YouTube. You got to be dedicated to it full time, or it's
Wow, that cut deep.
it's tough. It's something you really got to be dedicated to. Really got to be dedicated to.
So if I buy like a couple cow skins,
I say we bring the machine over here and we learn together.
okay,
How's that sound?
I will because I made the headliner in the Sub 100,
Yeah,
which is a sewing
I did
machine
see
and a
that.
Mexican blanket.
Yeah, that looks
That
good.
works,
And,
yeah.
and so, but it's not heavy enough. I did the research to know that it's not a heavy enough sewing machine to sew through the leather. It doesn't have
Exactly. Yeah,
And so it won't.
your normal home one won't do.
because I wanted to
leather.
I wanted to do all the interior, and I
Yep.
was like, well, I started cutting apart the leather seats on the Prelude just
Yep.
to see it for the patterns or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I'll just. And it's like, no, it won't work.
Yeah,
Especially if you're going with actual leather, not
yeah.
whatever.
You
the hell
did
this shit
cloth,
is.
or I don't know what that would be, burlap or some type of thing. But yeah, mine is originally set up for vinyl, but we can set it up for leather. It shouldn't be a problem.
I think that will work for leather. That's pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
No,
industrial.
It'll
It's not
definitely
a-
work for leather. It's just
That's not a home, you know.
the sewing guy that I talked to liked to keep them separated. He liked to keep his leather
It's a good song too.
There you go, keep them separated. Oh yeah,
There you go.
a good song.
Man, that's been a long time since I heard that. Damn.
So either we could set you up with a sewing machine, or yeah, I could just bring mine over. You can use it because I'm never really gonna ever use it. Probably.
Well, first of all, I don't want to just like, here's a sewing machine and like just figure it out. And like, I mean, it's not that expensive. You can get a big cut. It's like $150. I don't know how.
fried. Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's on eBay. I don't know if it's worth a shit, but
It'll be for what you're using. Yeah, it'll be good.
and so I'd get a couple of those. But
Yeah.
I at the same time, I don't want to be like, here's $300 worth of leather and just
Sure.
brrr, and just butcher it and ruin it and just waste $300.
Yeah, we can definitely practice on something cheaper too.
Yeah.
You don't have to practice on leather, but we can do something cheaper. But yeah, I know that we have talked about that, and it's definitely something you got to dedicate.
You've done door panels and stuff.
Yeah.
You do Tim's
Yep.
door panels.
Yep. I've done a few, and it's definitely something that you got to dedicate time to. It's one of those deals that
It's like everything.
Yeah.
You need to know.
Right. Oh yeah.
you're more than welcome. I would like to take it in, and I was supposed to take it in to get it looked at, just to make sure that it's set up right and everything, but I just haven't found the time to do it yet. But we will definitely, if you're interested in borrowing it,
No, I didn't say borrow. I said
or you can come over and we
said-
can learn. We can learn together.
said I'll-
I'm no expert, that's for sure, but
I'll bring the patterns and the seats over and let's.
I'm definitely willing
cut
to
some
try.
stuff. Yeah.
You know, so I know we've
In
spoken about it.
for like the Prelude for what it is, it's not going to make it look any worse probably, and I think it's within reason fairly basic. Because like the front seats right now are blue, and everything else is a charcoal color because the charcoal seats are in the Chevelle.
Yeah.
And supposedly the blue interior is super rare, but just because it's super rare doesn't mean it's worth any more money. So
Yeah.
True.
I might just rattle can those seats a charcoal color so they're not blue, so
Yeah.
it kind of looks a little bit better. But I always had that thing, rare, can't ruin rare.
You can't ruin rare.
I've actually had pretty good success with the SEM brand vinyl dye. It works pretty good.
I've used, what is it, Duplicolor or whatever the hell they have at O'Reilly's.
You know, I've used that too, actually, and it's I
mean,
guess I
that's
have.
what those are painted with in black, and I did
You're
those.
right. Okay.
Whenever I did the T56 swap is when those seats went in there, so that would probably have been 2015, and they're still that's impossible math, but I think it's 7 years ago, and they're still looking just as good as the day they did when we painted them. So
I sprayed the headliner in my dad's Nova when I was probably
the silver one.
Yeah.
Did he have more than one Nova, or that was the silver one?
No, he had the silver Nova, and it was green interior, dark green interior.
Oh,
so
man.
yeah, I was like, oh God, it's got to go. Dark green. So actually, originally that car was a green car to begin with. Mm-hmm. And whoever painted it before, they used like some crazy enamel, and it had to all be stripped and everything. But anyway, the dash was still green when we bought it, the green dash pad and everything. But I trimmed black the dash, the metal on the dash pad. But the headliner, we used the SEM vinyl dye, and it held up really nice. I mean, it's still today like almost looks brand new.
This is a beautiful car.
It's crazy.
That car is beautiful. Your dad did awesome body work. Like, there's one thing you can say, that mofo could paint.
Well, I'll tell you this, Mike. You know, he always used to tell me, my car looks worse than everybody else's car that I've done for them. So he always put the extra time in to everybody else's car to make their cars look better than his. So that way, you get what I mean.
Yeah, I get it. But also, too, he looks at his car and, has rubbed every square inch of it, every time he cleans it or whatever. So, everybody says the Chevelle looks awesome, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's
perfect.
It's not that good, really.
So what?
Yeah.
It's still
because I know all the flaws on it, and but the average person doesn't see them.
That's good, though. Yeah. That's good. That's the way it should be. And he did too, and he always told me, I'm like, why ain't you wet sand and buff that smooth? He's like, oh, just in case you get a scratch, you got a little bit more room left. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I get it. All right.
You don't want the clear coat sanded down to one layer.
Yeah. So he left a little orange peel. He was okay with it.
I left a little orange peel on the Chevelle too because I had solvent pop.
Hey, man, it don't matter.
10 years, maybe longer after I painted that, I finally found out what solvent pop was because Aaron Frederick, I don't know if I'm supposed to say his name or not, but what's up, F-Jacks, came over and painted his Scion in here, and he had solvent pop. And I was looking at it, and I was like,
I don't even know what that is.
Just the clear coat bubbles. Like if it flashes on the top and it doesn't let it off gas. And so now the off gas is captured. So it starts making little bubbles. It makes pinholes down in the clear coat.
If I'm correct, Mike, that's usually caused by not letting the base coat dry out, flash off long enough. And that can cause that. That's what I've been told, but I don't know.
Or like he was using Transtar Clear, and supposedly if you reduce it 10% with a urethane reducer, it's supposed to help with it. So ever since then, I've reduced all of my clear coat with the urethane clear coat.
Absolutely.
And so what I understand is if the conditions aren't just right, and they never are when I paint, that top layer flashes. And so now it's not able to off gas anymore. So now it's got a hard layer on it, and that gas has to go somewhere. So then you get little bubbles in it. And I never knew. I was like, why can't I wet sand this freaking orange peel out of my car? It won't go away. And it's like, I'm sanding on this way too long. And just finally just ended up saying, whatever, it's good enough. And then, 10 years after I painted it, I was like, oh, let me go look at the front filler panel on the oh yeah, that's definitely solvent pop. I'll be damned. You can just see it just looks like a funnel in the clear coat, just really tiny little needle pricks in it.
So I've been doing a lot of spot repairs on the side, and to be real honest with you, I've never had that problem. And the brand that I use is not the most expensive brand, but it's not PPG. It's a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
It's whatever's on sale. But the biggest thing I think I see with a lot of the problems that I have at home is the dirt. I mean, we have,
bugs.
But, bugs got me. I was doing actually Ryan's Ryan's Honda Civic hood one night, and there was no bugs the whole night, and then all of a sudden I'm getting ready to paint. I'm like, what are these little green bugs doing? And they're like everywhere. So I'm out there with the tweezers and picking all of it out.
That never works. That never.
Like,
I've never been able to pick bugs out.
Tweezers didn't work for you.
Apparently my hand's too shaky, and I just get in.
The good thing is we got lucky. My wife was out there; she helped me, so we took some masking tape and roll it back, and you can kind of dab them out. There's a little trick for you.
That's a good idea.
You
A little tech tip for the day.
You take the green tape, 3M tape, and you roll it up and you just dab it out, almost like you're taking the lint off your clothes.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you use the lint rollers. It's kind of the same thing. So you just bump them, and it'll suck them out. And then you let it dry for a little bit, and then you put a couple more coats of clear. Man, we were supposed to wet sand buff it. I don't even think we did. I think we just left it, and it looked fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would rather paint a car black, I think, than paint it white.
Well, the situation with that is, if you want to get into that, is when you paint a black car, you have white dirt. And when you paint a white car, you have black dirt. I just don't understand why.
When you paint a white car, you have every single color under the rainbow.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at.
When we did the top half of the truck, I blew everything out. I was so anal about making sure everything was clean. Blew the color on, everything was fine. Went to hit go clear coat right over the steak box.
Yep.
Red, black, every single color under the damn rainbow was on that thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, never paint another white car again. This is stupid.
So getting back into painting a white car, we did the Tahoe, and in my garage, the walk-in door from the house, the washer and dryer is right there. And then I was color sanding and buffing at that time. I'm like, why is there red, blue, black? There's like these little strands. I'm like, oh man, that was the lint coming from the dryer.
Oh, really?
Like, oh man. So
what does your wife say about you painting in an attached garage to the house?
To be real honest with you, Mike,
she likes to smell.
She's all right. She's all right with it. No, we have a pretty good exhaust system, so it's actually pretty good.
It doesn't stink up the house.
No, it pulls a vacuum. You can open the door to the house, and it's like you can you can hear it. So we got a good exhaust system. I'd like it to be a little bit better. So maybe someday if we keep going on that route, but no, I mean, it actually works pretty good. You'd be surprised.
Can't be much worse than that nail polish.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, the acrylic nail polish stuff. I can't handle that. I can't even I have to leave the fucking room.
I'm sorry. I speak for that.
I have to tell you that. I have to leave
It's bad.
the room.
The smell doesn't really bother me that much, but we did do some work for a customer, and she did nails at her house.
Oh, okay.
Off the back of her garage or whatever, and yeah, she had a pretty strong exhaust fan blowing all that stuff out in the backyard. And while we're working on there, we're working right out by the exhaust fan. We're like, woo, yeah, there we go.
It's horrible.
Little fun afternoon, I guess.
There's something about that acrylic and the what are the other stuff they use, dude.
This is not a fingernail paint podcast, guys.
Yeah,
just
I
so
know.
you guys know.
All right.
The girls will like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, someday maybe I told all the wives they need to come out here and do a podcast with me.
There you go. A little nail painting session.
No, just all the shit talking they can do about their husbands probably and air all the dirty laundry.
Yeah.
You know how they like to talk.
I could actually probably get into that nail polish thing a little bit because my wife used to get her nails done. She'd come out to the garage every once in a while. She's like, oh, you got some sandpaper. I'm like,
There you go.
What do you want?
Yeah.
And
wait, she freaking cut and buff her nails.
yeah, well, and then I showed her. You take a little paint stick and you need to sand it right, not with a Dremel because it puts grooves in it. You need to actually block sand the nail. Yeah.
Oh man,
because you want that shit smooth. I'm like, this is how you do it.
Hit her up with some high build and then
Yeah.
have her go in and get the nails done.
Seriously. And then she painted them after she actually sanded them the right way. We probably I think it was 320. We started out with 320, and then I think we might have hit it with 400, you know, and then they were all like super smooth after she had them done already. And they were, you know.
I can say that I never thought we'd be talking about.
So, okay.
It's
Well,
the same,
what I'm getting
it's the
at.
same concept.
Yeah,
What I'm getting at. No, and I was trying to explain to her.
We can relate to them.
Dude,
I see. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to explain to her it's the same thing as body work. That's what I was trying to get at.
Oh, okay.
And then all of a sudden, once she painted them, like, oh, those are fucking nice. I'm like, duh.
Like
I mean, that's the same thing.
candy painted
So
nails.
yeah, you know,
It's like buffing a CD. It's the same.
Yeah,
It's the
okay.
same. It's
Buffing
the
a
same.
oh
It's the
man,
same
you're
buff.
going way back.
I never buffed. They had that little thing you could go zzz,
You
like
never-
spin in there, but no, I just licked them or like.
I actually
did
got a
whatever.
good story about
never
buffing
have a-
CDs.
Anyways,
Oh, gotcha.
let's get into polishing CDs because I'm sure that's
Yes.
a hot topic that a lot of people are really into.
Yeah, I've never done it actually.
I have never either.
I've heard of it.
Okay, so here we go. All right, so we took a snap-on buffer and put it in a vise or a DeWalt, but they're all the same thing. And this is the buffer that you'd be using to color sand and buff a clear coat on your car.
Your wife's fingernails, you meant.
And that too.
Yeah.
It could be. Yes, it works.
Got to cut and buff those things.
Yes, sir. So my friend, his first name is Darren. I won't say the last name. He was hardcore into the car audio stuff back in the early 90s and mid 90s. And then I kind of got him back into it in the 2000s. Okay, so anyway, I had some CDs that got all jacked up. And he's like, oh, all you got to do is take some 1500 grit wet sandpaper and sand them. You sand them. And then he put the buffer in the vise, and then he'd take it and he would, you know, put
Polishing.
it was some
compound on it.
compound. Yeah, I don't know the brand name it was. So there was, you know, cut and buff compound. And yeah, and he'd buff those CDs like that. And actually, to be real honest with you, they really didn't need to look crystal clear. But as long as the scratches weren't there,
The big ones.
they
yeah,
still played perfect after that. So
I will tell you that does not work with the GoPro lens
okay.
because I was trying to get some sweet shots one time welding and like sparks
yep.
flying and
I've seen that
grinding.
video.
Oh,
And it they
some
all
slag or something
stuck
on it.
into
Okay.
the well, and I'm all flux core too, so it just splatter everywhere.
Flux core.
Yeah, well, hey,
Oh, come on, man.
hey, I'm rich enough to pimp my garage, but not enough to buy a welder.
Come on. You at least have a bottle of C25.
No, I'm fucking.
Man,
I
it makes
never have.
a world of difference.
Oh, I know.
World of difference.
I've welded on welders that weld nice. Zach brought his welder over here one time, and it stayed here because Zach likes to store stuff in places. I used that thing for like 6 months. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then he took it, and then I went back to the old Cricut, the old early 90s Cricut that my dad bought, and I inherited.
I see it right over there. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
you
look
know
at that guy.
that's probably rough to the same age of the welder that I have that my dad left me. The one I have is just a 110 unit, but I got the C25 on it with 023 wire for doing auto body.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it's, you know,
smaller
it's just
wire,
set
yeah.
up for auto body, and it works great. You know, it actually looks pretty similar to that.
I mean, there's something to be said because those things will last forever.
They do.
I mean, they make a good product. That's a old Miller Cricut, and it's early 90s, late 80s, mid 90s. I'd say early 90s
yeah, that was
probably.
at least his, don't you think, Ryan? I mean,
Yeah.
that blue one we had he bought that when we were still living at the split level, you know. So
Yeah, we bought that off of somebody on Journal Star.
sure.
Going back to the Thrifty Nickel days, you're looking at the one ads.
I don't even think it was Thrifty Nickel. I think it was
Yeah.
Journal Star.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's something-
I went with them to pick it up.
That's you probably did.
That's something that, like, my kids are never gonna know. Like going to lunch and getting a newspaper out of the
Yeah.
thing and like
Right.
looking to see what they're.
Yeah,
Oh.
like you were saying on a podcast a few months ago, is Thrifty Nickel every Thursday.
Yeah, that was.
You
that
go pick it
used to
up at
be.
the
Yeah, Taco John's always had the little thing out there. We go to lunch
pick
at
it up
Taco
at the
John's and
gas station
Yeah.
and go home and read the Thrifty Nickel.
I think the
Every
time that I
Thursday.
remembered that I'm not trying to butt in, but the time that I remember that is when I was with my dad. We used to go to either what was the gas and stop? Was that what the name of it was?
The Getting Split?
No, it was the gas station.
Gas station,
Yeah.
right over there. And they had the
14th and Cornhusker.
They had the cool sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had the crown on it.
Yeah, and they had the cool lights,
Next
the old
to
school lights.
Champions Fun Center.
Yeah.
Just north
Yeah,
of there.
yeah.
It's
That
still,
gas.
it's still abandoned. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Still
abandoned.
there?
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
it's still there, but it's abandoned. And I drove by it the other day. Literally, this is crazy. You brought that up because
Or next to O'Reilly's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were going out to State Trap, so we were going out to Donovan is where it's at,
Yeah,
but
last
Grand
weekend.
Island, and Thursday, and we drove by it, and I was like, man, I remember when that still had the lights on it and
Oh, I
stuff,
know, yeah.
and I was gassing up the Chevelle in there in high school, and that used to be the gas
Yeah.
station,
Yeah.
and I thought, I was like, man, that was a really ghetto ass gas
Yeah,
station
it
that
was.
I just felt normal going
Yep,
to. It
yep,
wasn't
yep.
a big deal, and now it's just abandoned. But that sign up on the pole
Still there.
would be
Sweet.
kind of cool to get if they ever tear it down, try to get that or whatever.
that was
do something with that.
iconic right there. And I remember going there and we'd get the suckers and you know what I mean, and get a 40 ounce of the Mountain Dew, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Fountain drink.
Yeah, Big Gulp or whatever it was called then, or what.
That would have been the closest gas station for a long time until that Texaco was up on was at Fairfield and 27th.
Yep, yes, sir. Yep.
We would
You're
go.
right.
We would go to the 14th and Adams.
Yeah,
Quick
we
shop.
always-
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, and the quick
yeah.
shop up there, the 14th and Adams.
That was ghetto
Yeah,
as
getting
shit.
robbed every day.
Oh yeah. Robbed every day. You know,
Probably still.
unfortunately, somebody got killed there a couple of years ago.
Jeez.
The
That's
clerk-
right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
yeah.
Got held up.
Man.
It's a bad deal. But,
See, I mean, we didn't grow up in the best of neighborhoods.
we would walk.
Made it work.
We would walk to that gas station every day
yeah.
to get a big gulp or
I wasn't
something like
walking.
that.
We were always on the BMX
Or BMX bikes,
Yeah.
yeah.
We always did.
Yeah. I
Buy
remember
baseball cards is what we would buy up there.
baseball cards.
Yep.
That is a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Like I remember going to oh shit, what the hell is the mall next to the mall? East Park.
East Park, yeah.
Yeah, and they would have like
Remember that.
the baseball card place right in the middle of that, and like you'd go in there and like look at stuff, and you'd buy a pack to try to get and
East Park. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
freaking baseball
I think
or
I know what you're
Pogs.
talking about.
Did you ever play Pogs?
No,
Hogs?
no, that was
man,
I'm
you're
older than you guys.
You're only like a year older than me.
I'm a
I
couple
was
years older
a little
than
bit.
everybody here.
I was a little bit in that era, Mike. It was kind of
When were you born?
borderline.
Ryan?
81.
Yeah. Okay. So you're a couple years.
I'm
83.
older. Yeah.
85, Travis?
86.
80. Oh, you were a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just guessed. My brother was
Perfect.
born in 85.
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a long time. Last time I seen him was
Yeah, he's still a Jew.
when his I was with him.
only funny to me.
I was with him.
I've never met your brother. To be
I was
honest
with him one time. He had
I don't
was it a
know.
71 or 72 Chevelle black.
I've never met you.
72, yeah.
72.
Yep.
And the throttle spring broke one time. We were like right down the street from your house.
Was that when it flooded it out so bad it bent a rod or something?
It could have been. It could have been. But we ended up making it home. But I only knew him because through Sid. And actually kind of funny how you bring up Sid because I haven't talked to that dude in, oh man, it's been probably at least 20 some years.
Yeah, I seen him randomly one time. Well, I think it was for Spencer's wedding, so it's been a while.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah,
yeah,
he
it's-
was pretty good friends with Spencer.
It's been a
Okay.
long ass
Yeah.
time.
He had
I've
that-
seen him maybe once or twice since then, but
He had
yeah.
that white square body. That thing was nice.
Dude,
Yeah,
that was
here we
a
go.
beautiful truck.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Rob's truck,
Yep.
and he worked at Husker,
Yep.
and they did all the body work
Yep.
on it, and he completely restored that truck,
Yep.
and then where's that truck at?
I don't know.
Sid
Like,
doesn't have it anymore. Nobody has it.
I
That
haven't heard
truck
from
was
Sid in a long time, and getting back to Sid's father. Actually, his father was work friends with my dad for quite a while. I think they worked at GM dealership here in Lincoln,
Husker.
off O Street.
Yeah,
It was
was it?
either,
Well, yeah,
I think then
it's
it might have
Husker
been-
bought it out.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what
I can't
it was.
remember what name it was. Park Place or Miss Lee's or one of the
Yeah.
two. Yep. So and that's kind of how I knew them. You know, that's kind of how it begun. You know, so, and we were pretty cool friends in 3rd grade. You know what I mean? And then after that, it kind of, you know, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we're all close enough in the neighborhoods.
Oh yeah,
that
yeah. And then
we
I
could get around.
had another neighbor that lived down the street from you too. You know, but his first name was Blake. I don't know if I won't mention his last name, but yeah.
Hold on.
You know who
hold
it
on.
is.
He lived up in the cul-de-sac on the top of the hill.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
Fuck that kid.
You know what? He was okay. He went through tough times as a childhood, so it's
Yeah, no,
you know?
I don't know any about that, but he was always a mouthy little motherfucker.
And then you had Spencer, and yeah, Spencer was cool. I never had any trouble with him. You know, he was a real good guy. He had the RX-7, and that car was fast. Oh yeah, it was real quick.
Yeah, he
had
was-
the little 350 in that bitch, and
Yeah, and he
It was
did
fun.
he did
That
the
was a fun
turbo
car.
swap on it too.
yeah. See, that was after my time then.
Yeah, he put a single turbo, no intercooler carb on it, and I think he sold it shortly after that. I don't think he really did anything with it, but yeah, it was kind of like
Yeah, that was
turbos were kind of coming into their own scene right there.
And I actually think that he just lost his father not too long ago too, if I remember right.
Yeah,
So that was kind of crazy to hear
yeah.
that too.
John about a month ago, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, that's crazy.
yeah. That took a somber turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But-
it's part of life, man.
It's a circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess I never really knew what he did for work and I never really knew his parents too much.
John was a jeweler, so
Really?
he made jewelry
Nice.
and he worked
Okay.
at a pawn shop. But I think he did the
jewelry.
so he
side.
was kind of like the jewelry side of
okay,
it, and then
okay.
I think he also made stuff in the basement or whatever. He had all the stuff set up to do that, and apparently he made a lot of really cool stuff. When I read their obituary, they kind of went through some of the stuff he did, and it was like, whoa,
sweet.
I didn't realize that he had done that much stuff. Because, growing up and you don't really know the backstory. It's like, oh, that's Spencer's dad, or that's
Yeah.
whoever.
Yeah, no, I got
And
you.
so you're like, oh, I didn't realize that he did that, or I didn't.
Yeah.
Wow. So you kind of you almost get to know them more after they pass, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think you're
Which
probably
is-
right.
Because, you just know them as who they are.
who they are,
But you don't ever do any
Yeah.
backstory, back history
Yeah.
stuff on them. So,
And I think they were, if I remember right, I think they went to the same church that my family went to too, and we used to see them there every once in a while.
did you guys go to Sacred Heart? On like 33rd and Vine? Because that's
No.
where they went. Because that's where we went.
Right, but
Catholic.
I think
Catholic, yeah.
they one time went to North American Martyrs.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
later
yeah.
And I believe your parents probably did too.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
I can remember.
We always went to the most ghetto.
Whatever was closest, I think, was the thing. Wasn't
It was literally we drove into the ghetto and went to church every Saturday night as a youth, and it was at 30. What was it? 27th? No, probably
So was
30th and Vine area.
Okay.
That was the Catholic church in that area.
Yeah, Sacred Heart. That's where I went to CCD.
That's where it was.
and-
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So that's they went forever, and
we all went through that too, and I think the biggest one was the St. Mary's down by the Capitol. I think is where
That's
we
where
were.
we went. Yeah.
Where we were more dedicated to them than
yeah, and that's where I always went
Yeah, no.
after kind of once I started getting out on my own or whatever, and I was like, screw going to church on Saturday night. Saturday night's where everything's happening.
Yeah,
like
it
I'm
always
going
sucked.
to hang out with my friends. Sunday morning, hungover as fuck. I'd go to St. Mary's because they had 12 o'clock mass.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
know?
You're right. You're right. You're right. Yep.
And so I was like, oh, when we were going to get married or whatever, I was like, well, St. Mary's is kind of like my home base now. And he's like, no, not going to happen. Go to your district. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. All right. And he was kind of a dick. And so we went over to St. John's. That's where our parish is now or whatever. It's where our kids go to school. And Father Johnson was just like complete opposite. He wasn't an asshole. He was just like totally cool, funny, cracking jokes, just cool guy. And so I was like, this is where we belong. I'm not going to go downtown anymore. But
So that's off 70th.
yeah, like 77th and Vine area.
Yep.
So
It is a little bit hit and miss because now I'm up in Omaha, and the Omaha diocese is a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit different than the Lincoln diocese.
yeah,
They seem to be a little bit more, I don't know what you want to call it, laid back. Is that just because maybe there's just the population is more? I don't know.
it could
But they
just
seem to be
the
a little
people-
bit more.
I think it's the people that's in charge. Probably you get a really
Could be.
somebody that's wound up real tight, and then everybody's like, got to be tight too,
Yeah.
you know. Or if it's like more laid back and laxed, everybody
Yeah.
can have a good time.
But I mean, even down in the, the areas of 24th Street where it's more of the Hispanic, Latina area, I guess is what you want to call it. They're like super cool people that just
They prefer to be called Latinx. No, they don't.
Yeah, God. don't get into that, Mike, because I'm wrong any way you look at it, because I'm wrong because I don't know how to speak Spanish yet, and I guess if I have to
gusta
say
el
this,
bicicleta.
yeah, well, I can understand Spanish. I can't speak it. So there's certain, like, I can
Keywords you can
actually
pick up
list,
on.
yeah, and I can understand Spanish. Then I can't. But I can't speak it
Yeah.
because we're just not taught to. You know what I mean?
Failed that class.
Hey, LPS. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean,
can't speak
It's
English.
hard to speak Spanish.
I can't fucking read or spell.
Yeah.
The problem is, if I say something in Spanish, they laugh at me. I'm like, well, fuck, I just tried.
Fucking gringo.
yeah. Well, that's about the only word I know. But yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
At the end of the day, I think everybody is. We all agree on 90% of, or maybe 75% of stuff. We're all in the same agreement, and then we just, for whatever reason, with politics or whatever it is, it's the outer fringe that controls the side. And like, if we just focus in a little tighter, we all agree on the same shit.
Yeah,
There's no reason that we have to, I
got
don't
you
know.
on that.
I don't get it. It's fucking stupid.
It's all good.
Well, let's go back to the Chevelle for a little bit because I'm sitting over here looking at it and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. There's no motor in this thing.
Yeah, we spun a rod bearing. Turns out that was probably because I put the ARP rod bolts in. And I read online, don't do it, by like 90% of the people. But 10% of the people said, hey, I did it and didn't have a problem. And I like to go somewhere in the middle. And I went to the wrong side on that one. So there's a chance that that's the reason why it ate the rod bearing.
Okay, so Mike, what motor did you have in that before?
It was a, what's it, 98 LS1? No, 2002. Sorry. 2002 LS1
Okay.
with the Cadillac CTSV supercharger,
Okay.
a BTR positive displacement stage 3 cam, and stock bottom end besides ARP rod bolts.
All right. Now, God, getting back to that, I was always told to use ARP rod bolts and crank bearings or stud kit, but we're talking back in the
So
the
apparently
350 era.
yeah. So if you take all the parts in, when you're getting your block machined and you're doing all ARP stuff because it torques it down to a higher spec than factory,
and having it balanced.
they'll check it for round and they'll
Okay.
machine it. It
Okay.
needs to go
Yep.
5 thou
Oh, yeah.
over or something. But if you just swap it out, it actually becomes slightly out of round because it clamps it too tight. So it
Okay.
whatever spreads it out, or I have no idea what it does. I'm not a fucking magician. I don't know. But it does something that isn't good, and it ends up
Okay.
chewing a bearing up. Basically, is what happens. So
Now, did you plastic gauge that, and did you check it all out when you put it together? I guess that's my question now.
It came apart. Why the hell would I do that?
I mean,
It all worked. I mean, for as far as out of round goes, what are you going to put plastic gauge on 4 sides? How are you going to know if it's out of round?
And that's the problem, because I've been to school for tool and die, and I understand what you're talking about. And yes, you have to check it at certain clocks.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, if it's out of round, you're screwed. I mean, you're screwed. You know, and you're right. The plastic gauge will not work.
I will tell you that was the best being screwed ever, because that thing lasted for almost 5 years. 5 years, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know what?
Did
That's
zero
not
tuning
bad.
on it.
That's not bad.
Well,
that's not bad.
I always said my motors will last 10 years. This one lasted 5, but put boost on it, so that cuts the life in half. Yeah.
There you go.
So back in my era, there was no, the turbos weren't real great then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Turbos
have come into their own.
Yes. And I had the old school Cutlass, and just actually the motor came out of Ryan's car. That came out of Ryan's Nova.
You guys are kind of a G body family.
Well, I was a little bit. Well, yeah, he was too. Yeah, because he had the Regal.
That was my Cutlass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the Pro Series hydraulics, and then you know what I mean.
You don't have that car anymore, do you?
No, I do not.
God,
wish
that
he
thing
would've
was
kept
fucking
it.
pretty. And I always thought it was black.
It was.
It was
Or
black.
no, okay, so let me rephrase
You're
that.
right.
I always thought it was blue, like a really, really dark blue, but it was black. And I don't know why.
That's what the
That's probably because it
factory
was-
color was.
Yeah.
That's probably because he never polished it, and the clear coat was so dull that it almost looked like a midnight blue.
No,
that's what I'm thinking now.
No, not one of your guys' cars was ever not polished.
No, it was.
Well, that one was probably never not.
Yeah.
I really don't think he ever polished that car. If he did, it was probably me doing it.
It looked good. It looked fucking good.
It was a fun time. Let me
I
tell
think
you.
I only saw that car like 3 times, maybe 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty ass car.
We drove it a lot.
Yeah, we beat that thing up, and
So what year was your dad's Nova?
that's a 1970.
It's 70?
100%
Is yours 72?
71.
71.
He's on a 71.
Yeah.
I don't know Novas that well, so
Well,
Not many people do.
it's kind of crazy because there's a lot of different variations, because you have the grills, you have the marker lights. It changed so much throughout the years.
yeah.
And
Well, and it was
I-
just subtle changes, like 68 and 69 Chevelle, like,
Same
there
thing
was
too.
67,
68 and 69 Novas were
66,
different
67,
too.
you know.
Yes, sir.
They kept the basic body lines the same, but for the most part, they're the same car.
Yep.
It changed a little bit here, changed the taillights, changed the dash.
I guess if you want
I
to
kind of do miss the fact that
get back on.
manufacturers used to change the car yearly.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
They did.
how
Yearly.
expensive
They
that would
They
be
did.
for the
Yep.
tool and die to
They did.
like imagine going from like a 56 to a 57 Chevy or something like that, and like all of a sudden now we're
3 years difference.
Yes.
yeah,
And
we're stamping big ass fins now or Cadillac, and there's like every single year the die just kept getting bigger for the fins. You're like, okay, we can't get a die that big. Let's bring it on home.
Yeah.
I can tell you that, like, the Novas were a real weird era in the, I don't even know what generation those body styles are. But when it got to the 68 body style to 72, there was a lot of different variations. And you were looking at, like, so much things as small as the front bumper, the marker lights.
Yeah,
on a
side
70.
marker lights were a huge indicator on what it was. Yeah.
So a 68 and the 69s, I believe, had the small marker lights. And then the 70 to 72 had the little bit wider. They're more rectangle. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's how they got. And I think the Chevelles might have had some issues like that too back in the day, but I don't remember
Higher
100%.
and lower. Yeah.
But I do know, like, on the 1970 Nova, they had on the bumper the clear marker lights. They were like a clear. They were clear, but they had the amber bulb. Mm-hmm. But then when you went to the 71 and the 72, they had the amber lens.
And just clear bulb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was like, it was kind of weird because the 70 was like the only era that had the clear light with the amber bulb. And then when you went to the 69 and the 68, they had the rectangle, the little bit smaller ones. So actually the bumper was different. The whole steel bumper was completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the smaller ones. And they had the rectangle, the small, you know what I'm talking about? Like Darren's car was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marker lights.
Yep, the marker lights.
Were different.
And it was just really weird, you know.
Let's get back into G-Body Nation.
G-Body Regal.
G-Body.
Big body.
I'll let Travis tell the Regal story.
The Regal story is going to start from the beginning.
Well, this is Ryan's Regal, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And I think I know what color it was, but
You said blue. It was black.
it said blue, but I thought it was a really, really dark blue.
No,
It was always black.
it was factory black.
I wonder if I'm getting it mixed up with
Wasn't
another
polished,
one. But
right? That's why.
maybe, I don't know. But it was a slight hood blister. They had the hood. Did it have a blister on the hood for the...
Yes. That was the...
Right? Am I thinking of the same car, or am I thinking of
that
somebody
was
else's car?
Correct.
Yeah.
Grand National hood that we picked up from a salvage yard here in Lincoln.
Okay. So,
And,
Yep.
and if you really want to know the price that we paid for that, if I'm correct, it was right around like $50.
and that's like a $1,700 hood nowadays.
Yes, that is.
I'm just pulling that number out of my
That
ass.
was the steal of the day. That's what it was. And okay, so but we need to go back a little bit farther. So the car started out as he bought this car. I believe it was was it Friend, Nebraska?
Yep.
Okay, so that's where it was, in Friend, Nebraska, and it had these old 15-inch mag wheels from, it was like super popular then. Had the mag with the little black stripes.
mags.
Yeah, it was like
Directionals.
directionals. That's what they called them.
Ultras.
Oh man, it was
Aluminum.
I mean, man, it was like the hottest thing. I mean, and then
It almost looked like a circle track car at that point.
it was getting there. Yeah, it was getting there. And I'm pretty sure it had the white letters on the tie. It was
Absolutely. Like Tiger Paws.
Tiger Paws.
They
Did
were.
it have
They
Tiger
were.
Paws?
They were Tiger Paws.
Had the hand
Yes,
print on
they
it.
were. No way, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. You're right now. You say that. I couldn't
fuck
even remember
yes.
that. That's good.
Nailed it.
So, they brought this car home, and the original hood, my dad wasn't real excited about because it had the crow's feet. The clear was all cracked up, and he didn't even want to deal with it. He's like, we'll strip it down, we'll paint it, do whatever, no big deal. But the biggest thing that my dad always complained about that car is like, man, I rode in that thing and the damn heat don't work. We ain't got no heat in this car, So he's like, talked to Ryan. He's like, yeah, we need to check that out sometime, but it ended up being, what was it? Was it just the cable for the
Yeah.
the door
actuator,
box for the
lever or
cold,
cable.
hot door box or whatever, And they ended up fixing that, no big deal. And that was just that time, And then it got into the era where he bought these couple years later, after a lot of other things that happened, but it's no big deal. A couple years later, he wanted to order some rims off the internet. I think it was the internet, wasn't it? Is that where you guys got
Dayton's?
those deals?
Supremes.
Ooh.
That's
White walls.
your turn.
Supremes. Off of out of the Lowrider magazine, probably.
Yeah,
Most
I think it
likely.
was out of the Lowrider magazine.
You got catalog?
Yeah. The old magazine.
Yeah.
Cash
Yeah.
by, what was it?
Yeah, kids
COD,
nowadays
wasn't it?
don't
COD.
COD.
Cash on demand.
Holy shit, cash on delivery.
On
Wasn't
demand.
that-
There you go.
Yeah.
Delivery. Not on demand.
So, I mean,
Cash on demand. I'm COD, bitch. I got cash on demand.
yeah.
So he ordered these rims from, if I remember right, it was Fort Collins, Colorado?
Yeah.
Was that where they were coming from?
Some dealer in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Loveland,
I think
Colorado.
it's funny that you
Little
remember.
warehouse or whatnot.
Oh, so was it commonplace, or you just remember the
Dude,
It was nearby.
the distribution center?
You know, it was a state away,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
and they were 13 by, I think, 7.5s.
Yeah.
13.
Small.
Oh, yeah. We were going
But you
old
kept
school.
them clean, right?
Yeah,
I hope
yeah.
you kept them clean.
They were 10s, but they were clean.
They clean, motherfucker. But oh yeah, there was a lot of times with the Ajax and the, you know what I mean, my mom's brush that used to clean the kitchen floor. So I mean, you know,
Polishing them.
White
we were
walls.
keeping it real.
Yeah, white
we were
walls.
keeping it real. It were
Inch and a
2-inch
half.
white walls.
2 inch?
2-inch.
I don't remember.
Yep, the 2-inch.
It was your damn car. You should
I don't
remember.
know.
Why is your
Yeah,
little
look, I
baby
know
brother
I didn't get
remember
the tape
it?
measure out.
I know,
Like a
I know.
measure of, right?
Well,
I didn't care about
they weren't
that.
quite 2-inch, but they called them 2-inch
They
at
were
the
1
time.
7/8.
Yes, yeah, probably.
3/4.
Probably 1.5, to be real honest with you. But yeah, but they call them 2-inch then, you know. And this car went through a lot of, there was a lot of times, you know, that thing made through a lot of times. And
You guys painted the car though, right?
yes. Well, I'm still not to that point.
Or I jumped the
Yeah,
gun.
you
I
jumped the gun.
apologize. I
So-
apologize.
There was a time where me and him got stuck in the mud with that car one time, and
Was it at the Coke factory?
no,
It wasn't Coke back
You guys
there.
weren't
I-
wheeling in it?
I heard a lot of stories about that.
I'm not going to get into that, but Mike, he got stuck in the mud one time, and we got, you know, a tow truck driver to pull us out, and everything was good because it was fucking pouring rain, it was mud, and we got stuck. 13-inch tires with cut springs. I mean, think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you probably were high centered.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sounds right.
Yeah, but so
But
We made it
I'm
home.
still confused why you guys are wheeling at the Coke factory in a G body with 13 inches with cut springs.
well, it wasn't the Coke factory. It was
Somewhere else.
We were, you know what I mean. It was just,
Yeah.
you know, we were
Out
looking
having
for some
fun.
parts, but
We all did a lot of stupid
Oh, yeah.
shit back in the day.
But
that-
anyway, this car, all right, so at this point in time, we did not have hydraulics on that car. We, you know, he had it lowered and he just threw the springs in it. And Derek is, he was kind of the inspiration, I think, a little bit, because he was getting into it a little bit more than Ryan was, and Brandon, and all them guys. So, you know, and even Mike too. But the
Not
situation was
Not this guy.
not me.
Not this guy in the microphone.
Hartshorn.
we had to put the, you know, he bought the, I can't even remember the brand. I think it was Luxor, maybe was the brand name. So I don't know.
You're talking to the wrong person. I have
so you
no
go.
idea.
Yeah. So we built this shit and we put it in, and he has the batteries, and we got the angle iron, and you know, we got the old school welder that I have now that we welded the angle iron together with to, you know, just get the job done. And we got some remanufactured batteries, and yeah.
Did
that
you guys
wasn't the
just use
greatest thing.
just car batteries, or what? Like there'd have to be the deep cycle or whatever, like marine batteries or something.
Yeah.
Or what did you just? It didn't matter. You just put a battery in there just to get it to hop.
If I remember right, that was the I believe they called it a Group 31 or Group 30. It was like almost like a tractor battery, because they didn't have the regular post, but we had the wing nut post.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
like a-
so there were, yeah. But I wasn't 100% sure what they were. Mm-hmm. You know, so
I think they call him like Group 32.
I don't know.
Group 32,
It's
is that what it was?
RV type battery.
Yeah,
or
it was pretty
whatever.
big, like
Yeah.
an RV or a tractor battery.
Yeah,
That might
from
be-
a local guy
Oh,
here in
okay.
Lincoln that had a
Yeah, so that's what's in our
Remanufactured.
campers. The
Electric.
little
wing
That's
nut.
what it is, the wing nut
the
hose.
threaded post. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and then we got it all set up and everything, and you know, and I guess the batteries weren't tied quite down one night, and we were out driving around, and somebody's S10 maroon
Oh, not. It
lowered
wasn't Grabber Green.
No,
that was right behind us.
I remember that.
Said, "Hey, there's smoke coming out of your trunk." I'm like, "Oh," because he answered the phone. I didn't even have a cell phone then. So this is, I mean, you're talking like, damn, what year was that?
98, 99.
Yeah, probably.
Late 90s.
Damn, you were a baller. You
It
had
was
a cell
probably
phone.
What was the name of the phone? Nokia.
Nokia. You're on Alltel.
Cellular One.
Cellular One.
So
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
It was even Alltel.
I mean, okay. So we pulled over, and God forbid, actually, my dad was more the person that said, "Man, you need to take a fire extinguisher with you and have it in your car all the time, because just like the race car."
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that. I've never once used a fire extinguisher. The one time I tried to use a fire extinguisher was in my garage when I was doing something, like welding on something or whatever. Grabbed my fire extinguisher. It was out of gas. It didn't have any juice. I'm like,
Uncharged.
Okay, so check this out. We pulled over, and I can't remember where it was. It was like in a little
Post office.
It was one of the post office parking lots off of
O Street, yeah.
or was
Third
it
no.
the
40th and O.
or was it the
okay.
Next
It was
to the
right there.
cemetery there.
Yeah, right by
Yeah,
the cemetery area.
There,
Yeah, that's like a
west
So that would
of
have been
there.
on the north side.
North side.
yeah, that's like an office furniture place now.
probably.
It might
Yeah.
be. So yeah, we jumped out, opened the trunk, and yeah, there's hydraulic oil, and I don't know if it was battery acid or what was going on, but we took the fire extinguisher, and it was done. You know, we put it out, and it's like, oh, God forbid somebody was behind us, and
That
the
you
wire-
knew that had your cell phone number that could call you.
Yeah, for sure.
But what happened is the battery post broke off the solenoid, and it hit the freaking floor pan,
Oh, so
and it
now you're
arced
just
out, so
arcing.
it's arcing. Yeah, and it's like 2 inches away from the gas pan or the gas tank. Mm-hmm. So we're like, oh, so we blew it out and like, you know what I mean?
Man, that would have
Unhook the
been
ground real
Unhooked
quick.
the, yeah, it
that
was a big
would have
deal.
made a cool video though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
seeing that
yeah.
thing.
It was.
It was.
Yeah,
It was definitely smoke clad.
it was pretty fun, Mike. I mean, to be honest with you,
I've never rode in a hydraulic car.
Oh, it's,
Never have?
Oh, you have
no,
to.
I have not. And part of me says when I become super rich that I can do whatever I want to do, I'm going to have a hydraulic car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not me, but I want to, if that makes sense.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Dude, you'll have a good time. I mean, we got to the point where we had it set up to where it was real rough riding there at one time. And then we started understanding how we took the front springs off the car and put them on the rear and put shocks back on the car. But we had to go to O'Reilly's and we had to figure out what car had the same mounts but were a little longer. And I'm and if I'm thinking right, I think Mike Hartshorn might have helped us out on this a little bit to figure out for the longer shocks, or was that on Dad's Nova? I mean, one of the two.
You got to
But we
have
had
a
to-
good O'Reilly's guy to figure that out.
and-
You can sit there that's willing to click through all
Yes,
the buttons.
and that's what it was.
Yeah.
Mike, and I'm pretty sure that happened on Ryan's car, and I'm pretty sure it happens on my dad's car too, because the way he had it set up, it had some, I don't know, it's something like some off a a Ford station wagon. There was something funny, but it was like right on, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, this is what you need," and I'm like. And then today I go to O'Reilly's and they're like, "Oh, what's it off of? What's this? What's that?"
4x4. Does
Yeah.
it have
Yes.
dual action windshield wipers?
Yeah.
Or is it just single action?
The window cranks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Non-window crank.
What motor does it have? But it's still a 4x4. It's the same.
You have to.
You know, it just
Yeah, it's like it's
So
it's
anyway.
a 1958 283, but it's in a whatever. Like, what does it matter?
yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Solid motor.
So
mounts.
anyway,
Yeah.
that time
No.
we went there, I'm pretty sure.
Only one.
All they would.
Yeah, only one.
So the shocks that we got, I believe, if I'm correct, they were either yellow or blue. And I'm like, ugh, you can't put that under your car. so we probably trim blacked them or
Probably.
whatever we did real quick, scuffed
Crumbed them
down.
out.
No, they weren't
Fucking
chrome.
dipped
They were
them.
black. They were black. You know what? They might have been white.
They were white.
We might have left them white
Yeah.
because I thought it looked cool. Well, he probably thought it looked cool.
They look
too.
smaller.
So-
I get it.
So getting back to that point, the rear end in that car is
was a
another
penis
story.
joke.
So the rear end in that car, we bought at swap meet. I believe it was probably
Remember that?
Wallhoo.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a out of a 79 Malibu. It was still the 10.5, the real weak one.
8.5?
8.5,
Or 8.25?
I don't know. It was
Yeah.
small, dude.
Wait, is there...
Might have been a 7.5.
Is it an 8,
It was
is
dude,
it an
it was
8.5
small.
and an 8.75? I don't know.
But it was the one out of a
Where's
G-body
Zach
was
at
real
when you
small.
need him?
Yeah, exactly.
I know. God damn it, Zach.
Watching Royals.
But anyway, we bought that rear end, and it was a posi. He wanted a posi in that because originally we were going to put a chromed out 350 in that car, and it never worked out. So that rear end, I remember the center pin had the lock bolt had broke and it spun, and so it ate up the shaft a little bit. So we had to steal the old one out of his other rear end and put it in there in the lock pin and everything, and it was good to go. We put all new bearings. We sandblasted this.
Ryan, why don't you remember any of this?
We sandblasted
could care
this,
less.
and we painted it and clear coated it, and it was beautiful. We put the chrome cover on it with the posi tag, and it was just, you know what I mean. It was really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and
And you did all that for your big brother.
I did.
He doesn't
I
give a
did.
shit about it.
I did.
I give a shit, but you know,
He was just like, I don't
Time has
remember one.
passed.
I don't remember one thing about that.
I remember ruining my dad's snap-on extension because I was using it as a chisel with the
punch?
mini sledgehammer. Yeah. And he was real mad about that. But yeah,
See that? Yeah.
yeah,
it's probably still there somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember when we were having all the moped rallies and stuff here, and some of the guys were using Zach's tools because he had his toolbox in here. And it was using just a flathead screwdriver. It was like a chisel.
It's a
And he was,
chisel.
like, hammering
Snap
on it.
on.
And he is like, what?
What are you guys
Got
doing?
fucking punches? Why are
Yeah.
you doing this?
Beating on the plastic fucking
But I mean,
head.
okay, so days down the past, he had the chrome front suspension on that, chrome lower, upper A-arms, all the tie rod ends, all that. And, you know, that was a real nice car. It kind of sucks that he got rid of it, but someday you always, you know, now he's
Hey,
gonna spend-
there's always one that gets away.
Yeah, it is what
There's
it
always
is.
one that gets away.
It was,
Mine just happened to be a Honda.
I'll leave it at the last notes. That was a real fun car to ride in, and we got in some cool car chases with that thing.
I would like to be. I'd like to ride a hydraulic car and just fucking just hit some switches. That would be
it's
pretty
fun.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there one of these days.
Yeah.
If I get uber rich, I will build a hydraulic car.
The best person to talk to is probably Brandon and Derek because they know what, you know, they took it to the extreme. We never took it to the extreme.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Derek still like, boy, don't fuck around. When it's
No.
time to do something, it's time to do it.
No.
It doesn't matter.
They
what
take it to
is.
the extreme, and I'm telling you, we're old, we're out of date, and they took it to the extreme to the next level. And I seen Derek's car even when I was probably 16. He did a, you know, three-wheel around the corner. It was Hartley and Groveland Street right there around that corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, rolling through the sand in the corner, you know, because it was, you know, still like March or April, you know, fucking gravel everywhere. But yeah, he ripped it up. Yeah.
Nah, maybe someday.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
it's all good.
I wanna do-
Everybody likes something different, man.
I'm gonna buy. Or sorry, I'm
You
not gonna
like your
buy.
Honda Prelude? I like my
Hondas are cool.
Buick Regal, right?
Yeah.
Hondas.
No, I'm gonna get me a 1947 mail truck. I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
I don't
We
know
seen
what
that,
year
that
it
old
is.
short body
Yeah.
mail truck you got.
Yeah.
And we like I said, we can talk forever, man. But
Yeah, there's no ending it, but
Yeah.
like that
Let's-
6-liter. So I was gonna put that in the Chevelle, and I was like, I'm gonna get the Chevelle running this week,
yeah.
and I was like, I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna put the blower on it, do everything. I probably won't do the cam swap. Just leave the 6-liter cam in there, and then talk to the engine builder, and he's like, I could probably have it done by the end of May. And I was like, it's not worth $300 bucks for gaskets and all that stuff, and the energy spent. So the Chevelle's on park until that happens.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep working on that 6-liter. I'm gonna open up the ring ends and twin snail mail.
you go.
Twin snail mail. Hard to say.
What motor was in that Chevelle originally when you bought it?
Right there behind. Well, when I originally bought it, it actually ended up in my brother's Chevelle. It was a 350, 354 barrel, but I don't know anything else.
Okay,
other
so
than that.
so that might have been the time when I met him. So that was like
probably would have been
2000-ish. Maybe
yeah, it would
earlier
have
than
been
that,
close. Yeah, it probably would have been right
late 90s.
about
Okay.
that time. Yeah.
How's he doing? He's doing good.
It seems to be doing all right.
Good, good.
He can't finish his car because he's a low life. But I mean, that's neither here nor
Cool.
there.
I haven't seen him since I met Sid. I think him and Sid were more friends than
Yeah, Sid lived like
Probably.
literally one
Yeah.
house away from
Yeah,
us. So. Which was cool
Okay.
that we lived
Yeah.
in a neighborhood that had a bunch of young kids. And
hell
so we
yeah.
all kind of had
Yeah,
a
Spencer was right down the street.
group together. Yeah. Devin, Spencer,
Yep.
Ryan.
De-
I was like
I
the
remember
older
Devin a
person
little
of the group.
I know you were.
Everybody seemed to be about my brother's age or your
Yeah,
age.
yep.
So, but yeah, it was cool to have kids in the neighborhood.
We were all just trying to spend as much money that we had on our bikes, and that's all we could do,
Yeah. And now
Didn't have much.
my kids want to go to a vending machine. They're like, I'll pay you back.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. We're not going to the damn vending machine
Yeah.
and paying like
Yeah.
$3 for a Snickers. No,
Yes.
we're not doing
Yes.
that.
I love it.
Oh yeah, we have a lot more Belmont era stories that we could actually go on to, but we would be here to tell.
Maybe we should get the entire Belmont.
We actually
cast
should.
and do a podcast.
we
for
should.
that.
I think part 2 would be
It'd
good.
be the biggest shit show ever. Everybody talking over each other. I need to
And-
get like a table that's
Yeah.
like 13 feet long, maybe.
I have a couple too that I think would probably come out, and they're still in Lincoln, so it'd be actually pretty funny.
We should do that.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna get
Yep.
everybody I knew. I'm gonna try to get Noon in here.
yeah.
Mike, did you know the Goldens?
Golden.
So there was Keith. What was the last name?
Uh,
What was
The
the last name?
last name was Golden.
yeah.
No, but there was Keith, Kyle, and Chad.
I knew Kyle.
Yeah, okay,
Kyle
so-
was
oh,
in
really?
my grade,
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know him that well, but yeah, I knew.
They're
them.
still here in Lincoln too. And
Yeah.
they're
I think Kyle has a construction company.
yes, he does. Yeah,
Construction.
Yeah.
it would be kind of. It might be kind of cool. They
Dude,
probably
it
have
would
more
be,
stories than we
it'd
do.
be so. Like, I don't even know how we could do that. Just it'd
It would
like
be big, dude.
It'd be like 30 people in a room.
It would
just-
be like
and
a
it would turn
party.
into a giant shit show. Actually, it
probably
might
be
be
a
kind of cool.
party.
Just literally would be garage cast where you
Garage
just have
cast.
cameras,
Yeah.
like 3 cameras just pointed down, and
not
everybody
a bad
has
idea.
everybody's mic'd up, and we just bullshit.
But they're all.
But it would be like,
shit like that.
it would be so loud. And
It might be worth it.
And I got a couple kids that I used to race BMX with. Not kids, but they were my age. And then we kind of lost connection there for a little while too. And once you seen them, you'd probably be like, "Oh, I fucking remember you."
Mm-hmm.
So something to think about one of these days.
yeah, I kind of like the idea of like the Belmont crew, even though I wasn't part of it. But like you guys all
You're still north
You were
of
right
Superior.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Or south of Superior.
I was literally
What middle
on the
s-
other side of the trailer park from you
Yeah,
guys.
but you went to Goodrich.
You went to
right?
Goodrich,
So
yeah.
that was so he was.
This is
in
a
it.
Goodrich,
He was
guys,
in
yeah.
all the fucking.
I was the dirty, grungy kid that got along with the gangster rap kids.
You were into the fucking.
Nirvana.
We lost a camera.
Nirvana and Green Day.
It
We
probably
lost
mine.
Travis's camera.
But you were
Maxed out.
into the
Maxed out.
no, the back in the day was the fucking what were they? The rollerblading was a big deal. Not rollerblading, but the oh yeah. You don't even know, dude.
I didn't want to come out on camera.
It's getting bad now.
But I did rollerblade for a short period of
Did you
time.
really?
Yeah, I tried to aggressive inline skating is what we called it.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
And I tried to skateboard. I hurt my wrist real bad, so I gave that shit up. I was more of a biker guy, dude. I was into biking.
Me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
so-
I tried that whole skateboard thing one time, and then I was holding on to the back of somebody's bike one day.
I was sketching
we were
that
going
shit, yeah.
fucking really fast, and dude, it was no, that was the end of that.
I remember bombing down
after that.
the hill from like 14th and Superior down to like
Oh yeah, he's talking now.
yeah, and
Over there by Osco Drug.
yeah, bombing down that hill, and I was on. I don't know what the hell it was. If I was on the back of Tim's skateboard and he was sitting down on it, and we were like just like doubling down it, and I leaned back a little bit, and I don't know if I leaned back or if I stepped on it or what, but if we were bombing down the hill, there was no way I could have stepped on it.
Yeah.
And his hand got stuck under, like I think as he was holding on to it, maybe the skateboard. And when I leaned back, his hand got stuck underneath the back of the skateboard and just ground his freaking thumb down to a bone.
Bone.
Yeah, kids are stupid.
Is that all that stuff still there? Like that whole fucking.
Nah, it's still a street. It's still a sidewalk. Yeah.
Check it out. I ain't been by there in 20 years, dude. 25 years.
Yeah, it was the good old days. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up. You guys got anything you want to plug? What are you guys working on? You got any social media, Instagrams, the Instabooks?
Not yet.
Just waiting for you to build my garage.
Okay.
Someday it might be something, but we'll just see what happens. It's just
Come
work
up
in
with the name
progress.
right now and just...
Come up with
Get
the
it.
name right now.
Yeah. What's the name?
If you want to do a YouTube name, I think it's gonna be Two Stall Auto Body.
You guys go check out Two Stall Auto Body on YouTube and Instagram.
Perfect.
You're going to get that one too. What are you up to, RG? Anything? Got anything?
Just waiting for you to build my garage.
That has nothing to do with your socials, but
We,
all right, guys. RG doesn't have a Instagram, I guess. that he
no
wants to share.
Instagram, no Facebook, no nothing, man.
What could you give us your wife's Instagram?
Just my unedited YouTube swap meet Louie.
I finally figured out who
Swap Meet
Swap
Louie.
Meet Louie
There you
was.
go.
I figured it out. It's been officially figured
You
out.
didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it. Figured it out tonight.
Swap meet Louie at YouTube.
Oh man,
No
gonna-
videos, no subscribers, no nothing.
He's going to get on that, though.
man,
We will get there.
we could go way back on that, but I'll just leave it at that.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Now's your time for the
Peace
outro.
out.
Like, subscribe.
No, you got to get serious about it if you're going to do
Like,
it.
subscribe, leave a comment, click the bell. Till next time,
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
likes,
Leave a
Share.
comment down below.
subscribe, leave a comment below.
This is the worst clusterfuck of an outro I've ever done.
Yeah. It's all good.
Oh,
You got the editing video.
Oh, we'll straighten her out. All right, guys.
out.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. You caught me off guard there.
All right, you ready to do it? We're gonna do another. We're gonna do a cold cut. Go.
There you go.
Do a cold cut.
Like, subscribe, leave a comment below.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below.
Click the bell.
Click the bell. All right,
Peace.
guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.
Later. Sorry.
It's fine.